Hello, everybody. Hi, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by. This is Shirley with Shirley's Thread Work, and you are watching Wind Down Tuesday. So join me, grab your libation, whatever that may be. I'm drinking blueberry Stella Rosa wine, but I probably won't have too much of it because I'm kind of under the weather. Started not to get it, but I might take a sip or two. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping by. I want to say hello to everybody in YouTube land as well as in Facebook land, and also hello to everybody that will be watching the replay. I do thank you so much for your participation and your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we have a few people in the chat already. Say, let me see, Cindy, how are you? Jenny, Robin, how are you? Everybody is saying happy Wind Down Tuesday, and the same to you. Cindy's joining us from Michigan, Robin from Maryland, Jenny from Texas. Let me see who else is in here. Robin, we drove from Memphis yesterday, 5 hours of driving in a outright downpour. Very glad to be home. Yeah, I'm glad you're home safe and sound as well, Cindy. I tell you, this weather, that's all I can say. This weather, it has been something else everywhere. I was talking about that earlier today. And it just seems to be everywhere you go. No place is immune to this bad weather, tornadoes and rains and all of that kind of stuff. So hopefully it's going to calm down. It is April, as the saying goes. April showers bring May flowers. So we're almost at the end of April. So maybe we'll be done with the stormy weather and then start having some beautiful flowers and stuff blooming everywhere. Hi, Marina. How are you? Good evening to everyone. Thank you for talking about my suggested topic. If I can't watch the entire live, I'll catch the replay. Yes, I wanted to see, and you know what? I'm glad you mentioned it was you because I was thinking it was Danielle. I don't know why I have Danielle on the brain, but it was your suggested topic. So yeah, I thought it was a very interesting topic. I did a lot of research. Me and my AI had a little fun about it. I presented several different suggestions that were given to me, and this was the number one that the AI said would be the most interesting at this moment. So I chose it, and I think that the AI is correct because it's a lot of information that I have here. So we're going to talk about that. So who else is? And Marina, you said you finally got some rain. We've been in a terrible drought. Well, I tell you, everybody else has been getting some of your rain, some of your rain. And Jenny says she has family in Michigan. I used to have family in Michigan. Actually, I lived up there for a few months, not very long, but I was in Michigan, Muskegon Heights to be exact, for a little bit back in the 70s. So, yeah, I've been to Michigan. Didn't think I was going to be able to tolerate that weather, so I decided that was not the place for me to hang out at. So, I went to see Michael Jackson movie over the weekend. So I have my shirt on that I made. I was really I really enjoyed the movie. If you guys are Michael Jackson fans, then you need to go see the movie. I'm not going to tell you anything about it other than the fact that if you are a fan of Michael Jackson, then I'm pretty confident you will enjoy the movie. That's about all I'm going to say because I tell you, I truly enjoyed it, had a good time. I felt like I was at a concert at some point, and so yeah, it was a lot of fun. So if you're a Michael Jackson fan, go see it. Let's see what else are they saying. There's in the low mid 60s today, far cry from 88, mostly in Florida. And okay. And Jenny, you said you want to go see it too. Go see it. Go see it. And Cindy, I am his music is legendary. Yeah, I've always been ever since he first hit the scene back in the day with the Jackson Five, way back, as they say, because they went all the way back to the beginning, and that's all I'm going to say. But anyway, I fell in love with the Jackson Five, and of course Michael back then. And when he went out on his own, I was even more in love with him, all the way through until he passed away, and that was a big hurt to me when he passed. I did get a chance to see the his ceremony, passing away ceremony that they had, and it was televised. And I tell you, I felt like he was a relative. I was boohooing so hard. You would have thought that I knew him personally, but anyway, that was a big blow to me. But yeah, go see it if you are a fan of his. I think you'll like it. Um, and Marina, you said you remember running to the corner store every month to get the latest Tiger Beat magazine to read the Jackson Five and Osmond stuff. Yep, yep. And Robin said you did too. I didn't get a chance to do that, but I was just definitely keeping up with. And Marina, you said Thriller was the best. Um, Thriller, it's hard to say what's the best because it's so much that he put out that I love that that's definitely top on the list, definitely. But I have to tell you, there's still so many more of his music that I would just so and still and I still am crazy about because I have to tell you, we got there a little bit early and we just sat in the car and had Spotify on and just sat there and listened to Michael Jackson before going into the theater. So we were definitely pumped by the time we got in there. So it was fun. Um, Happy Tuesday, Marissa said, I'm going with the family on Sunday to see the Michael Jackson movie. I made us all shirts. Yep, I made shirts for me and my husband. As you can see, this is my shirt, and it's got little rhinestones in it that I did. I didn't do, his shirt is different without the rhinestone. But we had our shirts on and we had to represent to go in. And Jenny said, I watched too and cried like a baby. Yeah, I did. I definitely did. Um, so, hi, Quilt for Joy, Marissa, who else popped in? Deborah, how are you? Hello, everyone. I saw the movie Friday night. Wonderful. Yes, yes. And Marina said the video and Billie Jean are the best music videos. And hey, Eva Marie, how are you? Thank you for stopping by. Um, Smooth Criminal. It's just so many of them. I can't really just say one or the other for me because when you're a true fan like I am, it wasn't anything that I didn't like, to be honest about it. And even the music, every video was good, and some were better than the other. But yeah, it was, yeah, it sorely missed. All I can say, he is definitely sorely missed, and his nephew does a very good honor to him. I'll tell you that his nephew definitely paid a very wonderful homage to his uncle. So who else hopped in? I think I've spoken to everyone that has come into the chat so far. So tonight we are going to be talking about Marina's suggestion from last week, and that is, are sewing and quilting expos worth it? And it includes retreats and cruises. I did a deep dive search into all of these. I also have a few. I have a list of some of the expos and retreats and what have you that will be coming up this year, the rest of this year, going into next year, that I will be presenting as well to give you guys a little heads up. But yeah, we're going to talk about whether or not these are worth it because the one thing I have not been to many, um, but they are fun if you like that kind of stuff. You know, it's kind of like if you go somewhere and you're thinking you're going to learn something and you know benefit from the expo or the event that you go to, but you actually end up walking out with a bag full of stuff that you hadn't planned to buy and you still had questions. Well, that's kind of what may happen when you go to an expo. So that's why we're going to talk about it tonight. And we're going to talk about, is it really worth it, or are we just getting caught up in the moment? So we're going to, and I want audience participation. If you ever been to an expo or a retreat or even a cruise, let me know. And I also have a little quiz that I'm going to ask. So I'm going to be asking for audience participation, please. So first thing is, if you don't mind putting in the chat, who has been to one? Just put in there, I've been to an expo, I've been to a retreat, I've been to a cruise, or I've been to all of them, two of them, whatever. Just let me know. Those of you that are watching and those of you that can pop in, just put a comment in there and let me know, have you actually experienced a sewing and quilting expo or um, anything like that, like a retreat or like a cruise or something that's strictly with machines and things like that. All of those things count. Like the Impression Expo, all of those things count. So if you've been to one, let me know. So what I want to say is, the expectation really the reality of what is going to happen? Do you get out of it what you went for? If you went to an event and you signed up for some classes because they offer classes, well, first of all, let me tell you what you get when you go to an expo. Usually, what you get when you go to an expo, and that is demos, meeting other embroiderers and quilters, the engagement with like minded people, uh, different machines and notions. You get a chance to put your hands on a lot of things. You see a lot of different machines. You get a chance to test machines and test notions and tools and what have you. You see a lot of things to buy. You'll see a lot of material, quilting material, threads, notions, um, all kinds of stuff when you go to these expos. So, and they have classes, they have presentations, they have live demos where they demo things on a stage. So it's a lot of stuff to do, and it's a lot of people that are there, and it's a lot of times. Usually, they're anywhere from, I would say, 2 to 4 days of events, and you have to think about all of that. So if you've been there, let me know. I'm looking at the uh, answers on here. Let's see where we are. Uh, Jenny says she loved my shirt. Thank you. Um, And Marina, you're saying that you really want to try one of the cruises. I like to participate in a retreat, but I like to be at a hotel with separate rooms. Okay. And you're saying no, so I'm assuming that means you've not been to an expo or anything. Robin, you're saying no, so you haven't been to one. Jenny says, I've been to 5 quilt expos, so she's the expert on here. And hi, Faker McFake. And Becky, how are you? And Cindy, you are saying that you've been to several expos and your guild has 6 retreats a year in our activity building. So we go home at night and leave our machines and stuff. Love the retreats with my guild. That's an excellent thing to do. And let me see anybody else. Marissa says she's been to uh, Expo in Long Beach, California. Is that the Impression Expo that you've been to, Marissa? Jenny says she didn't take any classes at those quilt shows that she went to. And hey, Leslie, I see people saying hi to you. How you doing? And we have Angela, Angela Daniel, and she's saying, don't forget to hit the like button, y'all. Hit that like button. Thank you so much, Angela. Appreciate it. Um, and Leslie says, I've been to many expo events, starting with scrapbooking and later with sewing expos. Okay, good. And Deborah says she's been to several expos. However, I don't feel that the workshops are worth it unless you are a beginner. I would like to go to a retreat or a cruise. And who's next? Cindy. Cindy said, my last expo was in Lakeland, Florida. I met up with Nancy from Gifts headquarters and others. We had a blast shopping and meeting brand rep. That sounds fun. Faker McFake says she's been to 2 expos. And who else? Who else? And Cindy says, yeah, Marissa said it was an impression. I want to go to that so bad. And let's see. Cindy said, can't get you up here. Why aren't you showing? Oh, Sandy said, I most definitely want to be at Lakeland, Florida Expo next year. So it must have been really, really good. So that's good. So we have a lot of people that have been, a lot of people that have not been. I've been to one expo, sewing and quilt expo, but I've been to several different types of expos and things like that in my life. And they can. I've even been a vendor at several different types of expos as well. Hi, Carol. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. So it can be a lot. So there are big learning opportunities. You often get the best deal. Now, I know a lot of people will wait for an expo before they start before they will buy a high ticket item, which makes a lot of sense. So that's part of what I'm going to talk about, but just keep that in mind. A lot of people do that. You get inspiration overload as well because there's so many people that are coming at you with all of their wonderful products and all of their, this is the best thing since sliced bread type of demos. And you get caught up in it and you want to buy. And so you have to be very careful with that. So expos do have value. Like I said, you get a chance to see machines in person. You get a chance to test the tools before you buy them. You have your live demos of your thread and your stabilizer techniques and other notions. And you get a chance to meet other embroiderers and quilters. And you get a chance to meet some of the people that you actually have been watching on YouTube or FaceTime. So that also gives you a good feeling because you can put a person with your with being live because I met some people when I went to the expo and it felt really good when I watch them now to say, yeah, I met that person. They're really real people. And some people met me that watched me and they were basically saying the same thing. I remember Leslie when we met, you said, "Oh, you're just like you are on YouTube," and I said, "Yep. What you see is what you get. What you see me do on my live stream or my tutorial videos and stuff, that's who I am. So you don't get a different person when you see me live. You see the same person, um, which is good because you get a chance to know a person. The same thing when I met Jeanette. You know, she's a live person. She's the exact same person in in the flesh as she is on the video. I met Alexis, she's a brother representative, and some more people. So yeah, it's fun when you get a chance to meet people. Um, One thing is talking about classes. They do offer classes. Just about every expo that you go to, and including the retreats and the cruises, there are going to be classes that are offered that you can take. I am going to be, I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm just going to say be cautious. Like Deborah mentioned, you don't always get your money's worth, in my opinion. So it is recommended that you don't take a whole bunch of classes, maybe one or two, but be very careful. Read the instructions, the description. If possible, research the person that is doing the instruction or the teaching. Kind of get a feel for how many people will actually be in the class, if they're going to have helpers, all of those things. And I say that because oftentimes the instructor, especially if it's just one person and a helper, they can become overwhelmed because you have people in your classes at various skill levels. And if she or he is trying to teach a class, not a demo, but actually teach you how to construct a project of some kind, how to use some equipment that you've never used before, or whatever, it's not, that person is not going to always be able to do the one-on-one that may be necessary. So you may not get out of it what you thought you were going to get out of it. Because I have to be honest about it. The I have yet, unfortunately, have taken a class that I've paid for that I felt like I got out of it what I expected. Maybe one class that I took where the project actually got finished, and to be honest about it, it wasn't within the allotted time frame. Some of us decided to stay because it was like a several hours situation where you actually had lunch. Some of us decided to stay through our lunch, and the instructor was kind enough to stay a few minutes after the allotted time to allow us to get done with our class in order to complete the project. Had she not been willing to do that, then that project would not have been completed. Other classes that I've been to, that didn't happen and the project did not get completed. And I didn't really learn how to do um, what I wanted. I took I took a serger class at one of the expos. And of course, they aren't using the same serger that I have. That's one thing that you have to take into consideration. And the title, in all honesty, did not match what the actual class was. I thought I was going to learn the parts of the serger and what they did and their purpose, and basically how to use a serger, kind of a general overview. So there would be some comfort level in, the differential, and just setting up the tension and all of that stuff, the difference between a 4 thread and a 6 thread, a 2 thread and an 8 thread, and what kind of stitches, those kinds of things. I was not honestly expecting to try to do a project. And that's what the class ended up being. And unfortunately, because I think it had to been 12 plus, or maybe, 12 plus people in the class, and everybody wanted the attention of the teacher. And she had an assistant, but there was absolutely no way for her to assist everybody that was in there. And so some people end up being lacking, and I happened to be one of the people that was lacking. So my project did not get completed. asking questions, you know, you don't always get your answer because they're busy helping somebody else and they don't get to you. So either you have to ask somebody else that may know what they're doing or figure it out or just forget about it. And all three of those things is what happened for me. So I was highly, I don't want to say highly disappointed, but I just didn't come out of there feeling very comfortable with taking classes. And so going forward, I may, or it just depends upon who's teaching. And I'm saying that because I'm going to tell you in a little bit about a expo that's coming up later on this year that I really want to go to, and I'm kind of excited about it, and I'm excited about the people that are teaching, so it may be a better experience. So, um, it says that the downsides that nobody warns you about is this is the strongest thing to keep in mind and to be honest about it. It can be overwhelming, the expos, because it's so much. It is so much to see. Even if you go there for the 4 days, you may be lucky enough to see everything, but then you're talking about more expense because if you had to travel there and stay in a hotel, then you're also paying for every day that whatever that ticket price is for 4 days. You're paying for 4 days of rooming, whether you have a partner or not. If you have a partner, that cuts it down a little bit, but if you're on your own, then you have all of that hotel fee. And it depends if you're able to drive in or whether or not you flew in and rented a car. Then you have to worry about that expense. You have to worry about the expenses of the food. All of those things go into it. And then, so a lot of people don't stay for the whole 4 days. And if you don't do the whole 1, 2, or 4 days, then it definitely is overwhelming because you can't get around to everything that you may have wanted to see. So keep that in mind. The classes may not match your level. It may be too elementary or beginner, or it may be too advanced, or it may not be any of that. It just isn't taught very well because everybody that knows how to do something can't teach you how to do it. So that's something else to keep in mind. Everybody that is professional and they make wonderful products does not necessarily mean that they know how to tell you how to do it. And if you run across someone like that, that really is not a good teacher, and it's not a negative towards the person personally, it's just mean that's not their skill level. Some people don't know how to teach. And, they don't require them to have teaching experience, I don't think. They just require them to know how to put together the product that they're going to be showing you how to do. And a lot of time it's assumptions, and a lot of time it goes too fast. A lot of time, as I mentioned, they get distracted because so many people are asking for help. And so you don't get out of it what you wanted. The other thing, and I'm just talking about some of the downsides. Now, there are good sides, trust me, but I just want to be open and honest about uh, what you have to think about. Sometimes you have to consider the fact that you could be standing all day. Fatigue is real for the audience because usually it's at a huge uh, ballroom of some type, convention center of some type, and it's many, 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 many vendors all over the place, and you can do a lot of walking. And I have to tell you, the one that I went to, I I think I had just had my hip surgery. Or either way it goes, my walking has been off for a while. And I knew walking was going to be an issue for me, but more so I knew I couldn't carry a bag, a heavy bag. If I was going to shop, I'm not going to be able to walk and carry my bags because my back does and hip doesn't allow that for me. So I wanted to take in my little rolling shopping cart so I could whatever I purchased, I could put in my shopping cart and I would be able to maneuver through uh, the place. They did not want me to bring it in. I literally had to convince them that I need this physically, which I did. But it wasn't like they wanted me to take it in, and I can understand it can be a safety hazard if everybody in there has a shopping cart. I get that, but keep that in mind. You may not be able to take your walking device that you need. I can't remember seeing people with walkers, and even if I did, that's kind of defeats the purpose because if you have a walker, which I do have one, where's your hands to carry packages? You may have a little bag in the front that can carry some things, but once you put your purse in there or a small wallet, you can buy a few things, but not a lot because it doesn't carry much. So you have to keep all those things into consideration if you have some type of disadvantage where it comes to standing and walking. The other thing, which is a big, big thing, you could easily overspend. Overspend. They call it Expo brain. You see all of these wonderful notions and threads and stabilizers and everything under the sun, machines and tools and what have you, and they're presenting them to you in a discounted, usually in a discounted price. Now I have to admit the last one that I went to was right after COVID, I believe, and we weren't getting any discounts. I'm telling you, I was disappointed with the price point on the things that were available to buy. But usually they have good price points, which will make you feel the need to buy it because you feel like I need it and I'm going to save money. Therefore, I need to get it while it's on sale. And if you haven't budgeted for it, you can easily overspend. And it, especially when it comes down to buying machines. If you didn't go into the expo with the thought process that you're going to get you an embroidery machine, a sewing machine, or whatever kind of machine they have out there available, and you come back with one, that may or may not be a good thing. Because if it's not something that you had planned to do, that can be considered impulse shopping, and it may have done something to your budget that you didn't think about, and then you get home and you end up with buyer's remorse. So you have to think about those things. And also not enough time to absorb what you learn. So that those are the things that they consider to be negatives or downsides of going to an expo. So what do you do to keep that from happening so you can go and have fun? And let me see. Hi, Sherry. Thank you for stopping by. Uh, Let me see if there is any questions or anything in here. Hi, Joyce. How are you? Sherry says she's been to Houston Quilt Festival and have gone to quilt festivals in Branson. Yes. And Angela said, how do I find out about embroidery expos? Stay tuned. I got you. Um, Angela said, been to expos, not embroidery related, but scrapbook. And I know I usually buy stuff I can't find when I get home. Yep. Okay. And what else? And Quilt for Joy said, I did a Zoom quilt class and it was fast paced. I was not prepared for that. The class was 4 hours and felt like 8 hours. It was fun, but I was so tired afterwards, although I learned a lot. Yes. And that was online. Hi Arlene, how are you? And Sherry, let me see. Um, Leslie is saying, I took a few classes at Expos but didn't finish them. Same with Joanne's classes. I never finished them because we ran out of time to complete the class. And that's what normally happens. And Leslie said, I learned a lot more techniques from YouTube videos and content creators. Yes, that usually is the case. And Sherry said, Amen to not all can teach. That is definitely true. I've experienced that. Everybody that knows how can't teach. Those that know do, what is it? Those that do teach, no, those that can do, those that can't teach. Something along that line, but yeah. Marita said it's like gift shop euphoria. You get caught up in the hoopla and buy. That's always been my downfall. And that's just not you. That's just what they call expo brain. It's out there and in your face, and you see it and you feel like you need to have it because it looks good and you're imagining it's going to make your life better because that's what they're telling you. So you buy it. Hi, Creative Notion. How are you? And Cindy said they had good sales at Lakeland Expo on fabrics and Notion. I did not price out machines. Yeah. Okay. So what they recommend is a list of things to do. If you go to an expo and you want to shop and compare machines and you want inspiration, you like fast environment or fast paced environment, that's when you choose to go to an expo. You want to shop and compare machines. Basically, a lot of people will make up their mind, I'm going to get a machine. And some people will literally wait until Expo comes up before they'll save their monies and wait until Expo comes up to get a machine because you will save money. I've seen that happen. I've heard people, I've priced. I remember before the Avenir came out, but it was being produced. And I asked the gentleman about the Luminaire, and it was the Luminaire 3. And he quoted me $11,000 for the Luminaire. And we all know that's anywhere from a $25,000 to $15,000 machine, at least it was at that time. And $11,000 before Avenir came out was a doggone good price. And I have to tell you, it was not on my shopping list, nor was it in my budget. But had it been, and I even said it while I was there, that machine would have come home with me because it was a good price. It was a good price. And if I had it in my budget at the time, I would have gotten that machine and had a big old smile on my face and came on home with it. But that that wasn't the case. But it was a good price. And I've heard lots of people that have bought machines and sewing cabinets and even notion like threads and stabilizers and stuff where they felt like they got a good bargain for it. So it is something that you can do at an expo. Those are the pros. So don't think it's always going to be cons or downsides going to these different events. It's not. You do get some value out of it. Expos do expose you to new things that you have not seen before. Some give good pricing, some do not. Nice to see new embroidery and long arm features. Yes. And Carol says it would be awful to get a machine home that you cannot get maintained at home. That's true. That's why you need to make a plan. And I have a list of things that you should do if you're going to go to, and all of these things pertain pretty much to retreats as well as to um, Expos, but we're talking mainly about Expos right now. So let me see what it says. It says go in with a list with your top three priorities only. Go into the expo with a list of your top three things that you're going to look for, that you want, that you're willing to spend money for, and also always have a budget. Not sort of a budget, kind of a budget, maybe a budget, but a budget. I'm only going to spend maximum XYZ, period, even if it includes a machine. Say, for instance, you're looking to get a multi-needle machine and you have a $15,000 budget. That is your budget. You see the machine. It's $17.99. What do you do? Do you get the machine extra $3,000? Or do you pass it? What would you do? Put it in, put your comment in the chat. What would you do if you set a budget? I'm going to get, and you've done your research and you know what these machines generally run for. And you say, well, I know you can get them a little cheaper at the expo. So if they run for X amount of dollars, I'm going to try to get it for this amount of dollars and see if they're going to work. And you've come up with your top dollar is going to be 15,000 for a multi-needle machine, which is not unrealistic. But when you go in there and that dream machine that you want is sitting up there with a big old price tag that says $17,999, and you can walk out of here with a smile on your face, but your budget says 15. What are you going to do? Tell me what you're going to do. The other thing is choose 1 to 2 meaningful classes instead of 5 random ones. Now, you know, if you're going to take a class at any of these expos, you got to plan, look at them, read what they're going to teach, and register for them early because they fill up. The ones that you really want to do fill up. So if you see something, if your email comes in and tells you this expo is going to start in September, this is April, they're going to start letting you register for classes in May. You read up on the classes. You pick 1 or 2 specific classes. You need to go ahead and register for that class in May as soon as the door opens, because if you don't, you're not going to get that class. Then what do? My recommendation is don't take what's left. Don't say, well, I wanted to take a class and the one I wanted is not open, so I'm going to take this one. Don't do that. I don't think you should do that. That's just my thought. It also recommends that you take pictures of things instead of buying everything. That way, if you see a notion or tool, even a machine or what have you, even fabric sometimes that does not fit into your budget at the time, take a picture of it. Get a card from the vendor. You can always order that later and talk to the vendor. Have them put their name on the card and say, if you call me back within 3 months or what have you, and you mention my name or you mention this code or whatever, then I will sell you this product for the Expo product. You can negotiate that. I'm telling you, you don't know till you ask. And then stick to that. So look, it's not in my budget right now, but I really want it. And I plan to get it as soon as I get the money, but I want to get it at this price. If I get back with you in 60 days, can I get it at this price if it's still available? If you still have some that you're selling. And if they tell you yes, put it in writing. Tell me, give you a card, put that information in writing. That way, you have something when you call to prove that this is what was told to you, this is the price that they quoted you, and I'm ready to buy it. But don't just break your budget. Don't break your budget. Also, be sure you wear comfortable shoes. That's not, you would think that's common sense, but a lot of people don't. They don't think about all the walking. They think about being cute. I used to be like that. I ain't like that no more. I think about my feet. I think about my hip. So make sure that you're comfortable. If you need a cane, take your cane. If you need a walker, take your walker. Don't be embarrassed. A whole bunch of people need canes and walkers. So if that's going to keep you up and moving and being mobile and doing what you want to do, go ahead and do it because, you know, do what's necessary. Now, I'm looking at some people that have put answers in here. And let me see what we have. Um, Quill for Joy says, I've never been to an expo. One day I'll go, but I definitely will not spend a lot of money. That's easier said than done. Make a budget. Robin says, stick to a budget. Quilt for Joy says, stick to the budget. Creative Notion says, not on budget, no ma'am. If it's not, I'm assuming you're saying if it's not in your budget, you're not going to get it. Okay. And Angela, smart young lady, I would try to negotiate first. If not, I'm walking away. That's a good, very, very, very good answer. It's not a guarantee that you'll get them to come down $3,000, but if you don't ask, you don't know. If you don't ask, you don't know. It depends. They may, because you know all of these machines and things are marked up. All of them are marked up. And yes, they want to make a profit. And usually they want to get rid of machines. That's why they bring them. That's why they're selling them. So that person may be willing to negotiate with you. Maybe they'll come halfway. Instead of 3,000, it'd be an extra 1,500. I'm not going to tell you what to do if that happens. That's still outside of your budget. So, but I would definitely negotiate with them to see what it is I can do. And for me personally, even though I'm saying stick to your budget, if it's something that I've been wanting to get for a long time, if my budget is ironclad, then the answer is no, I'm walking away. If my budget is there, and like I said, not sort of a budget, but the budget is there, but I know that I'm not going to be hurting if I came up with a few extra dollars. Me personally, I might take the negotiated deal if it's negotiated down to the point where I'm comfortable with, not a few $100s. No, you're going to have to make a bigger, you're going to have to slice that $3,000 in half or more before I would even give it a consideration. Because if I got 15,000, you tell me 18,000, okay, thank you. Maybe next time. And I'm walking away. It wasn't meant for me to have. It was not meant for me to have. So you have to do that. Um, Jenny said, I researched the PR 1055X for a whole year and really wanted it. Waited until the Houston Quilt Festival and got it along with a bundle deal. That's great. I researched the Brother PR 1055 as well before I bought it. I compared it to other machines. Um, I actually had three machines that I was considering. One was the Avance, one was the Melco, I think it's the EX16 or whatever, because the new one had that they have out now wasn't out, and the Brother. I took the Avance off of the list for a reason. And so it was between Melco and Brother. Really wanted that Melco. And I really wanted the Brother. But the Melco wasn't in my budget. It's a few $1,000s over my budget. So I was like, not in my budget. So I went, and I wasn't upset about it because that was one of my dream machines as well. It was I was just as happy with the Brother as I would have been with the Melco. The difference is the Melco, and you all know how I am, had the bigger hoop size, and that's what I really wanted. But I wasn't 100% in love using the laptop. So it had pros and cons. With the Brother, it had everything except the hoop size. And that was like, which do you do? Which do you do? And even when I got to the dealer, I had looked at the Luminaire as well. And I literally was straddled the hall. The Luminaire was on one side, the PR 1055 was on the other side. And I stood in the middle of the two and was kind of going like this, trying to make my mind, because they were comparable in price. And I was this close to getting a Luminaire because hoop size was one of the main reasons, and the projector was another reason. I really liked that machine. I still do. But I settled or decided to get, and even the dealer agreed to get the multi-needle machine because that's what made me start looking for a multi-machine. I started looking for a multi-needle machine because I didn't like having to switch out threads over and over and over and over again with a single needle machine. It was a little, tedious. Like every time you get the stitching good, you got to change the thread, because I was stitching designs that had 10, 15, some 20 or more color changes. And it's not a hard thing to do, but it can get tedious. And you can stitch for a minute or two with your red and change it to a blue and stitch that, and then another minute goes by and you got to put the doggone red back on there. It's like, wait a minute, this is a bit much here. So that's what made me decide to get a multi-needle machine after I had only been stitching for months, not years, months, with my single needle. My single needle is a SE 1900. It was the hoop size and the fact that I had to change the thread. And that's when I decided I'm a multi-needle embroidery person. Now I've had my machine for 5+ years now, and I'm happy with it. But I am at the point now where I do want a larger hoop, but don't have a space. And I don't want to get rid of my machine. I don't want to trade it in, sell it, or anything like that. I love my machine, so I don't want to get rid of it. It would be easy to sell it and get, another machine of some kind, but that's not what I want to do. Not at this point, anyway. So let's see what else. Sherry says, stick to the budget. Lots of good and lightly used machines available locally on Marketplace. That's true. Um, with that, let me ask you this question. What is your confidence level with buying a machine, a pre-owned machine, sight unseen, basically, with the usability of the machine? I've never bought a machine. I'm in the process of getting ready to sell one, and I have sold things on Marketplace. The only thing that I've sold on Marketplace that was a machine was a heat press. And I had absolutely no issues with selling it and everything like that. It went quickly. So the person that bought it was confident that, they were going to get a good deal. I've seen machines on Marketplace, eBay, and different places like that, but I'm still a little leery. So my question is, how do you feel Where's your comfort level as far as buying sight unseen a machine off of a marketplace or something like that? If you don't mind sharing. Now, Cindy, you're saying I would ask for the table, stand, and accessories to be included. If I had to come up with 3K or walk away, go home defeated, you won't be defeated. But you know what? Let me tell you, the which is kind of sad. When I got my 10 needle PR 1055X, I get my machines from Tops Vacuum and Sewing Center out of Florida. I bought my 10 needle machine there, and I'm buying another machine. At this matter of fact, it comes tomorrow. Not no big fancy machine, but a sewing machine, and it's coming tomorrow. And I got it out in Florida. When I went down there, I actually put it in layaway, and I got it. So that's my comfort level because I know they give you good prices and stuff. But when I got my 1055X, it came with the stand. It came with a hat hooping system. Um, that's pretty much what it came with, is the stand and the hooping system, and what, all the little tool kits and stuff like that. The stand was put together already. It was delivered to my door. It was put together on the stand and brought to my door. So all I had to do was roll it into my house and put the thread on it and stitch. And that's exactly, well, what I ended up doing, because I'm short. It was, the stand was up a little too tall. So my son was there because I had him come by so he could film, because I was going to do an unboxing, because I was expecting to get everything in a box, and I was going to have to put it together, put the stand together, put the machine on, and all of that kind of stuff like most people have done. But that's not the way they deliver, and it's on their website that they bring it to you put together and ready to go. And I have to tell you, that is 100% true, because when they showed up, I was living in an apartment on the third floor, and they showed up and called me and said, "We're here." And I said, told them what door to come in, take the elevator up to the third floor, and so forth and so on. And I heard them coming down the hall from the elevator. I opened the door, and lo and behold, what did I see? Was my beautiful machine rolling down the hall, all put together and ready to go. I was so impressed. I was surprised and impressed. Most dealerships do not do that. They ship it to you in a box. I think I told you guys I had bought another machine that I ended up having to return, and they threatened to leave it in the parking lot. And I was going to have to figure out how to get this big giant machine up to the third floor into my apartment by myself. And I told them, I will not accept this delivery if you guys do not bring it to my door. And I meant that with all my heart. And they brought it to my door. I called the company while they were out there, and I told them, you all will get this thing back, because I'm not taking it. Because I thought that was the most ridiculous thing I had ever heard of. You're going to drop it off in the doggone parking lot? Y'all crazy. Anyway, I digress. Uh, and Arlene, you said, me personally, I will wait and stick to my budget. Okay, good, 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 good. Carol, Carol, you said my feet don't care if I'm cute. I am Crocs wearing woman. And Becky, you're saying, not Becky, yeah, Becky, you said pass it up if they don't stay in your budget. And Creative Notion said, I would also make sure vendor is local, make in case I need to get assistance needed where you live. And Angela, that's like babysitting your machine like you have to do with the flatbed. And hi, Sharon Davenport, how are you? Again, hit the Thumbs up button because I'm giving you guys great information. Hey, good. Yeah, yeah. And I have more to share. More to share. We have some vendor dates and stuff. And Carol, you're saying we get emotionally attached to our machines. At least I do. And I do as well. I am emotionally attached to all my stuff. If I spend my hard earned money on something, I am emotionally invested in it. And the one thing, it's kind of warm in here. The one thing that I do have to address where you said buy from a vendor or a dealer that's close by, which makes a lot of sense. When I purchased my 10 needle machine, I was living in Florida and my dealer was close enough where I could take the machine in if I needed to, because at that time I didn't have a person that could come or knew about a person that could come to my place, my house. Um, because I ended up taking it in once because the threader broke, the automatic threader thing broke. Um, but I moved. What I did, and it really didn't dictate so much of where I was going to move because sometimes you don't have a lot of control over that. But when I decided to move and knew where I was moving to, one of the main things I did was check to see where is the nearest brother dealer. I wanted to make sure that there was some place close enough that could maintain my machine. I did the same thing when I moved here. I wanted to make sure that there was somebody close by that could maintain my brother machine. So now, as far as lessons and all that kind of stuff, I lost out on that because the company that I purchased my machine from at the time did offer, training classes and all that kind of stuff, but I never took advantage of that anyway. Even when I was living there, I never took advantage of them teaching me anything because I went to YouTube University. So I didn't really think that I needed them to show me too much of anything. Um, Now, Sharon, you said you buy your baby Localissimo without seeing it, and it was shipped from California to Texas in 2013. I love my machine still used. Was it used? Was it used? And Sherry says, I have bought two multi-needle machines on Marketplace. Very comfortable doing so. Very good deals out there. No problems at all. The confidence is in buying a reputable machine. Okay. Okay. That's good to know. That's good to know. That's good to know. Okay. Um, Quilt for Joy. My first used sewing embroidery machine I bought off of eBay from a sewing machine shop. A Janome MC12, uh, what is that? One 12,000. I didn't know anything about embroidery. I just wanted a newer sewing machine. It was a great price. Okay. Okay. And Robin says, I bought my first sewing machine, embroidery machine off of eBay. It was a Singer Futura. I had one of those. And I was terrified of the machine, only tried it out once. I never used my Futura. I ended up getting rid of it. I had that machine for years. That was the first embroidery machine I ever had, and I never got a chance to use it. And I'm so sad about it. But it turned yellow on me and everything, and I ended up getting rid of it because by the time I got into embroidery, I had moved around and packed it up so much I couldn't find half of the stuff to go with it and I couldn't get it to work. So I just tossed it up to, I didn't pay for it. So it wasn't, I got it as a award from my job. So it wasn't like I was out of money. And Sharon says that her machine, it was used from a private seller. And you know what? You guys are right. And I'm so glad that you're telling me that because I have been leery about it. And I actually have a machine that I want to sell. And I know it's a good machine, practically new. And I have even looked at luminaires on eBay, And there was one that was not a bad price, but it wasn't upgraded to a 3. And I wanted a Luminaire 3. Cindy says, look like I move a lot. Why? Long story. Long story. But yes, I've moved a lot in my whole entire life. When just my life is kind of like that. But one day I'll talk about it. But yes, I have moved quite a bit. It's kind of uh, my thing. One day I'll settle down again. I did settle down for a while, and then I started picking it back up and moving again. So one day I'll settle down again. I think maybe I don't know. But I have lived in a lot of places in a lot of states. I've lived on the East Coast, the West Coast, and Midwest and South. So I have lived in a lot of places. Um, and Sherry said, I bought my first machine. It was pre-market place. A company in Arizona was selling it pre-market place. Okay. All righty. So let's see. Expo versus cruises. Expo's fast paced, shopping heavy, as we know, high energy. Retreats. I've never been to a retreat. I would be interested in going to a retreat. But retreats are slower and more relaxed. You get more time to stitch. So you guys chime in if that's correct, if you've gone to retreat. And it's better for skill building, which I can imagine because I'm assuming, since I haven't been to one, that you have more assistance. Don't know if that's true. But if you're kind of in the learning mode or whatever it is that they're making, you're in the learning mode for that, you would have more assistance. Now cruises, different ball game. Socialization and fun would be for cruises. If you've ever been on a cruise, then, and if you haven't been on a cruise, let me know. But if you've ever been on a cruise, it's a lot of socialization, a lot of moving, there's a lot of stuff to do. They got the excursions, they got the buffets, they got a whole bunch of stuff on the ship to do. It's just a lot. But you can have a lot of fun. They got shows and stuff. So there's a lot of distraction as well from why you're there, the purpose of being there. And that's why it says it's a less structured learning experience. It's more about community and experience. The experience of being on the cruise, seeing people, learning people, meeting people, um, deciding whether or not you're going to go to the classes or whatever it is, because you have to be disciplined, because the fact that you are on a cruise, the cruise part of this retreat or whatever they call it is exclusive of everything else that's going on the cruise. So you got a lot of competition with what there is to do on the cruise that could keep you from going down to that class or whatever, you know. So you have to be disciplined, I would think. For me, I'm not sure. Now, Expo and retreat sounds a lot interesting to me, or more interesting to me than to be on a cruise. If I went on a cruise, and I have been on several cruises, but not a sewing or quilting cruise. For me, if I went on a sewing and quilting cruise, I guess it wouldn't be bad for me since I've cruised before, so I wouldn't be so distracted. But if I hadn't cruised before or a lot, I could see myself being distracted because they got all these excursions you could take where you get off the ship and do this and do that, and all the different activities that goes on during the day and at night, in the clubs and the drinking and the eating and the buffets and the this and the that. It's a lot to do. It's a lot to do over and above what you're there for. So that's why it says it's less structured. Expos are great for curious learners, people considering big purchases, and social community driven stitchers. It's not for beginners with no direction. It's not for people on a tight budget. And it's not for people that are easily overwhelmed. Their personality is easily overwhelmed. So that is for cruising. I mean for expos. And keep in mind about those classes we talked about. These are paid classes. You have to pay for these classes. And it depends upon what expo you go to. They can get pretty expensive. So that's more money that you're spending out of your pocket. So pick your classes very carefully. And Robin, you say you've never been on a cruise. Now, Quill for Joy said you notice that some retreats will take a day or two trip to fabric store. So that's fun. I would love that. That would be fun. I could do a retreat. I think I would love to do a retreat. Um, and Cindy, you're saying we have 30 ladies at our retreat. Luminaires to featherweight to Viking and genomics. Some of us get together and work on the same project. Some are working on quilts. One lady comes and hand embroiders. Okay. So it's a bunch of different stuff going on, which is fine. That sounds a lot of fun to me. So here's a comparison chart for Expo versus retreats versus cruises. I'm going to give you the features and then I'm going to tell you what they are. For X the feature pace for Expos, the pace is fast. For retreats, is more relaxed. And for cruises, is leisurely. Like I was saying, you go or you don't go. The feature focus at an expos, the focus is shopping and demos. And that's what I went for, demos and shopping. The retreat is stitching and learning. Again, that's something I would enjoy. And cruises, social and experience because there's a lot to do over and above getting with your machine. The feature costs, expos medium to high, depending upon your circumstance. If you have to fly, rent a room, rent a car, and then you gotta, you want to shop, it can be on the high side. If you can drive there and go back home, then it could be very economical. And the only thing that would be definitely an expense would be your shopping. Retreats is meaning minimum priced. And I guess since I've never been on a retreat, I would make the assumption if it's an out of town retreat, the cost of the retreat would include where you stay and maybe the meals or some of the meals. And cruises, of course, the cost is going to be high because cruises are not cheap. You're going to pay over $1,000 a cabin. And that's just for one person, and you always have to have at least two people in there. So you're talking, and it depends upon the cruises you go to. Some cruises are less than $1,000, but normally a cruise is going to be $1,000 per person in a cabin with two people in there. That's kind of like the average that I'm aware of. It can be a little less or a little more depending upon what the deal is that they have. That does include all your meals. Because as long as you're eating in the buffet, you're cool. You don't have to spend any money on food. But most people will do at least one dining out. And then some people will go to the hamburger joints and different stuff like that because they don't want to eat in the buffet all the time. So it depends. But you can definitely get all your meals in the buffet. So you say your meals are included in that fee. Your drinks are not, unless you buy a drink package. And the drink packages are high. And keep in mind, most places require both people that's in the cabin, or all people that's in the cabin. If one gets a drink package, they all have to get a drink package because they don't want you sharing drinks. So be careful. And when I say drink packages, it doesn't have to be alcohol. They have non-alcoholic drink packages as well as alcoholic drink packages. So it depends upon what you drink and how much. Me, I've never bought a drink package because I don't drink that much. I may get one or two drinks, period, the whole time I'm there, a libation. The rest of the time, I'm going to get water, juice, and usually that's at the buffet. And if it's hot enough, I might get water or soda while I'm walking around, which you got to pay for. Um, and then excursions. Most people will not go on a cruise without doing one or two or three excursions, and that's off of the boat. So that's over and above what your sewing thing is going to be about. So that puts the price up as well. Okay, the featured learning depth for expos. Uh, Surface to moderate depends upon if you get lucky enough to go to a good class, or if you get some good demos, or if you get a chance to do some hands-on, which is one of the reasons why you go. You've been thinking about this machine and you want to try it out, so you might have to stand in a line, but you might get lucky enough to sit down and stitch something out, touch it, feel it, look at it, and all that kind of stuff before you get a chance to or make a decision to buy. Retreat, the learning depth is deep. You can learn a lot because I think people pay more attention to you and more people around you may be willing to help you out. Cruises, the learning is light because, again, you got so much distraction over and above while you're there, the reason why you're there. Uh, Feature best for expos, people that are exploring options. You're looking at stuff and trying to make up your mind what you want. Retreats, basically skill building, which would be down my alley. I would want to do a retreat and learn how to do something. And cruises is best for people that are looking for social enjoyment. I've been on several cruises. I don't need to do a sewing cruise. That does not interest me. For those of you that want to do it, if you go and go on one, I would love to hear about your experience and what you thought about it. But like I said, for me, since I have cruised several times, not any sewing cruise, I don't see that being something that would be of interest to me. Um, because there's too many distractions, too many other stuff to do that would take me away from that, I think. And the risk. The risk of an expo is always going to be overspending, even if you don't buy a machine. You can go in there and rack up a whole bunch of debt or break a hole in your bank just buying thread, stabilizers, scissors, needles, rulers, cutting devices, lasers, fabric, blanks. They have so many things at the expo to spend your money on. So you can definitely overspend if you don't budget it out. Retreat, limited variety. If you get a chance to go on a shopping spree, that would be fun. To go somewhere else other than where you live and get a chance to go to a quilt shop or fabric shop or something in a different area and hopefully unique fabrics and stuff like that, that would be cool. Cruises, less technical learning. That's the risk. That means you may not learn a lot. You may have fun. You may meet people. Uh, that part could be beneficial, but as far as it being directed towards learning a skill or something, not so much. Not so much. I don't think so. Those are the things to consider when you are thinking about thinking about going on these things. Now, they did give a different cost check, which um, can or cannot be correct. Expo entry costs can be anywhere from $15 for your ticket, um, but the real cost could be $200, $800 plus if you're just shopping, which is true. And that's not buying a machine. Retreat interest costs could be anywhere from $200, $800, and the real cost is basically the same, so they consider it a better value. Your cruise entrance can be 2,000 plus, like I said, and it can go up to 3 to 5 plus, depending upon, and I mean $3 to $5,000 plus, depending upon who you're going with and what you're going to do and all that kind of stuff. So cruises can be quite expensive, but it can be fun if especially if you've never done a cruise before. But I have to tell you, if you've never done a cruise before and you decide to do a sewing or quilting cruise, I don't think you're going to get out of it what you're looking for on the sewing and quilting part. You're going to end up spending more time enjoying the cruise, I think. And Sherry says, I agreed I would be distracted on scenery and activities to be stuck in a room sewing if that is what it's like. So you don't know. Um, yes, I just have to agree. Now, it depends upon how they have it set up and what the time frame is, because you do have downtime where you're not going to be out somewhere, because they don't go to ports every day. You may go to you if it's a 7 day cruise, you may go to 3 ports. So 4 of those days are, you got your travel day in, your travel day out. So then you basically got 2 days where you're sitting around on the boat and not leaving. And that's usually probably when they'll spend most of the time with the sewing and stuff, because there's nothing to distract you as far as going off the boat and seeing the areas. But the days that they dock, I don't see anybody not wanting to get off the boat, because if they're going to Cozumel and they're going to Jamaica and they're going to anywhere they go, you're going to want to see it. Why go if you're not going to get off the boat and go see it? So that time, and that's an all day thing. If you take an excursion off the boat, 9 times out of 10, when you get off the boat early in the morning, you're not coming back on the boat until that afternoon, just before dinner time. And then it's dinner time, and then I'm just telling you, that's just kind of how cruising is. So that's it. Food at expos costs twice as much as what I thought it should cost. Every expos I've been to, yeah, they can be expensive. They ain't necessarily that good. But what I recommend, uh, eat your breakfast in the hotel if you can get free breakfast in your hotel. Buy you a modest lunch, like a sandwich, a salad, or a hamburger. It's going to be at least $15. And then go out to eat, and then you can pick and choose where you want to eat for that evening. You can eat expensively or you can eat cheaply. It just depends upon what you decide to do. But I would only do one meal inside the expo hall, period. And that could be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be a full meal, just something to hold you. You get your juice and a salad, or a bagel, or whatever you want. So that's kind of how I see that going. So what I did is, well, I got a little quiz, and then once we get done with the quiz, then I'm gonna go over some of these different places that they have for this year, next year. So I'm gonna ask a question, and all I need you to do is put the letter in A, B, C, or D as your answer to each question, and then it's kind of like um, telling you exactly what type of place would be best for you to attend, whether it's an expo, a retreat, or a cruise. So, you ready? The first question is, what's your main goal of going to either one of these three? A, I want to shop. B, I want to learn. C, I want to finish a project. D, I want a vacation. So put your answer in there or either write it down because we're going to count the A's, the B's, the D's, and the C's. The A, B, C's, and D's. We're going to count them. And that would tell you what kind of uh, retreat, what kind of thing that you want to attend. So, question number 2. A, my budget is under $200. B, my budget is $200 to $800. C, my budget is $800 to $2,000. And D, money ain't no issue. I'm going to spend what I want to spend for what I want. That's number D. So you guys keep up with your letters because I'm looking at Cindy's A, Sherry's B, Robin's B, Leslie's B, Quill for Joy is D. And that is for question 1, I'm assuming. So you guys, it's going to be easier if you keep up with your own choices and just tell me how many of each you have, which would work. So now we are on question 3. Let me see how many questions is it. I think it's only 4 questions. Okay. Question 3. How do you feel about crowds? A, I love the energy. B, I can tolerate it. C, I prefer smaller groups. And D is nope, not for me. Don't want no crowds. Sherry says she's a tightwad. Okay. Under 200. I heard that. Now, this is the last question. Number 4. What's your skill level? A, beginner. B, intermediate. C, advanced. And D, business focused. So now I've gotten all 4 questions. So what I need, those of you that were participating, the first thing I need is, let me see, who all participated. Cindy, how many A's did you get? If you put in there what all this is what I want you to do. Put in sequence what you put down. Like if you did A, B, C, D, just put A, B, C, D. If you did A, C, do that. If you did C, D, that. There you go, like Angela did. Angela has 1 is A, 2 is D, 3 is B, and 4 is A. That's how I need you to do it. And then I can tell you what your type is. So, and I'm writing it down as you put it in here. Sherry, Quilt for Joy has D, C, D, D. Cindy, A, B, C. Sherry, B, A, B, B. Who else? 1, 2, 3. Is that all? Leslie, I don't have yours. Robin, I don't have yours. Jenny, I don't have yours. Robin, I don't have yours. Total. So give me your totals like the other ladies did. Then I can tell you where you fall. Robin, you have BBAC. Jenny, you have BCCB. I got you, Sherry. And Sherry said, "Don't forget Robin. Where is Robin? I wrote down Robin. Robin is BBAC. I got Robin. So I think I have everybody. I got Quilt for Joy, Jenny, Robin, Sherry, Cindy, and Angela. Leslie, I don't have you. Leslie, you have. What do you have? You have 2B. I don't have all of yours, Leslie. Think I got, let me see, do I have, yeah, I got you, Jenny. I think I have everybody but what Leslie did. I see you got a C. Where else are you? C, B, B. Look like you got 2 B's and 2 C's, Leslie. Look like that's what you got. I think Leslie has 2 B's and 2 C's. B, C, C. Yep, yep, yep. 2B, C, 4C. 1, 2, 3. And I think a B, B, 1, 2. Yep. You got 2 B's and 2 A's. Okay, this is what I came up with. This is the results. Cindy and Angela, you had more A's. Therefore, you are mostly comfortable going to an expo. Who has an S? And Robin and Sherry, you have mostly B's. So you are mostly comfortable going to a place that I haven't talked about yet, but it is like embroidery market, balanced learning and shopping. Jenny, you have mostly C's, so you would be most likely or most comfortable going to a retreat. And Quilt for Joy, you want to go to a cruise. You have mostly D's, so you want the experience, not just the sewing. You want to go to a recruit. So that's how it all turns out. And you said, sounds good to me. I like Expos. Okay, so that was pretty cool. For me, I think my first choice would be going to a retreat, and my second choice would be an expo. I know I don't want to go to a cruise. I don't think I want to do a cruise thing. Okay, now I have looked up major national quilt and sewing expos for the year 26 to 27. And I also have the top 10 embroidery sewing events worth traveling to for 2026 and 2027. So I'm going to do the embroidery one first. And these were ranked based on, this is the top 10. It was ranked based on real value, not height, learning plus access, experience, and fit for what you guys like. Quilt, you said so true. My ears perked up when you mentioned cruise. Good. So they got it. And Sherry, I wanted to go to Embroidery Expo for a while. Thank you. Okay. Good, good, good. All right. So they got it right. So Impression Expo. Now, some of you have already been to one, and we know that they go to Long Beach, California, but they also go to Atlantic City and Dallas, Texas. Now, the Long Beach was in January. The Atlantic City, they just finished. It was in March. So the next one will be in Dallas, and that's October the 22nd through the 24th. So that's the Impression Expo in Long Beach. And this is considered a top embroidery sewing event. They mostly they focus on testing machines, software, and everything else, strong business education. They do pricing, scaling, Etsy, etc. And it's best for anyone serious about making money with embroidery. It's not really great for those that are casual hobbyists who don't want to talk business, because I know they talk a lot of business at the Impression Expo, but I would love to go to an Impression Expo because I know they have the latest and greatest machines. If you want to see what's on the market, what's coming on the market, what they can do, and how much they cost, going to an Impression Expo is the place to go. They got a lot of, I've never been, but I've watched them on, a lot of people go and film their visit. And I know they have a lot of people there with blanks, with t-shirts and hoodies and sweatshirts and everything under the sun. They have a lot of embroidery machines. They have a lot of cutting machines, printing machines. They have a lot of everything. So that would be a good place to go. So Sherry, you said Dallas, got it, not too far to drive. Great. That's in October of this coming year. In next year, of course, is going to be in January, as usual, in Long Beach, California. Embroidery machines, digitizing software, blanks, thread stabilizer, and big business focused education. This is the event for serious embroidery business owners. I would love to go. Hopefully I can. Number 2, this one I want to go to as well. Everything Embroidery Market. That's EEM. I got an email from them a couple of years ago about going. I didn't go. It's in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Biloxi, Mississippi. If I go, it probably will be the one in Mississippi. They have it in the spring and the fall. The spring one has passed. The fall one is coming up October the 1st through the 3rd in Biloxi. Why is it special? It is one of the only embroidery centered events. It focuses on blanks, designs, and small business. It's best for audience exactly home embroiderers and side hustle people. It's smaller than a big expo, but that's actually a plus. And it is called EEM, or Everything Embroidery Market. I did go online and I looked it up, and they haven't opened up the doors for registration yet, But I have to tell you, I don't know how many pages, at least 5 or 6 pages of all of the classes that they're going to be offering there. Tons of classes. And let me tell you I looked at the vendors. I did not print the vendors out, but I know they're going to have Lisa Shaw. She's going to do a class. There's going to be somebody from Embroidery Legacy, which is John Deere. All Brand is going to be there. I think it's somebody named Stephanie Griffith. Um, it's just a bunch. It's a bunch of people that we know that is going to be there. Lisa Shaw is going to be doing Stitch Artist 1 and 2. She's going to do Embrilliance, Essential. There's going to be hands-on uh, workshops and classes. Um, this girl, her name is Julie Griffith. She does. She's a machine embroidery geek. Am I here? Can you all see me? Let me know. Can you see and hear me? Because something said that I went off, and hopefully I'm back. Sherry said wanted to go to EEM a couple years ago. I would love to go, Sherry. Maybe we can talk about it. Because I definitely want to go to EEM. EEM. I think it is really, really something. I mean, they do applique, sublimation, glitter fabric, court, multi-needle machines. All Brand will be there talking about that. Somebody's going to be there. Lisa Shaw is going to do lace appliques and digitizing. And I mean, it's just going to be a bunch of people there doing all kinds of different workshops and what have you, hands on and everything. All Brand's going to do the brother scanning cut class. So that is something that I am definitely interested in. And the one that I will be looking at definitely would be October the 1st through the 3rd, I think. And it's called Everything Embroidery Market. Look it up, Google it, and check it out. Why is it special? I said that one of the only embroidery center. The next one is number 3. It's called DAX, DAX. And somebody, I think that was you, Robin, I said that would be good at EEM, would enjoy EEM, Everything Embroidery Market, and DAX, which is Decorated Apparel Expo. That's in multiple cities, Kansas City, Chicago, Nashville. I don't see a date, so I would have to individually look that up to see when they're going to have one. I think they had one in April, but I don't know where else or when else. It less overwhelming than big shows, easier to talk to vendors, good learning without burnout, and best for beginners and intermediate users. Number 4, this is in St. Louis, but I think this one was in April, so I missed that. Quilt, Knit, Stitch. Now, all of these are pertaining to embroidery mostly, and it's a strong mix of sewing plus embroidery, classes, exhibits, and vendors. It's best for inspiration and learning without business pressure. Number 5, this one I intend to go to as well, and I went to one in Virginia, and that's the Original Sewing and Quilt Expo, which is in multiple cities, as we know. It's reliable, consistent, good balance of everything, and best for first-time attendees. Um, it's going to be here in Overland Park, Kansas, which is down the road from me, I believe in August of this year. So I plan to go to that one because I can definitely drive there and back. So I can attend on multiple days and it will be inexpensive for me because all I have to do is pay for the ticket to get in and whatever monies that I decide to spend while I'm there. So that is one I definitely plan on going to. And then the EEM one is one I want to go to. So we shall see. Missouri Star Quilt Company retreats, and everybody knows about Missouri Star. That's in Hamilton, Missouri, which is not quite down the road from me. It's a few hours away. Think about an hour or so away. Um, it says it's a sleeper hit. You actually get projects done. They have a strong community vibe, and it's best for people tired of collecting supplies and ready to sew. And they have tons of retreats, so they do a lot of retreats. Number 7 is QuiltCon, which is a modern quilting crowd, and there has already passed. It was in February, and it will be in February again in 2027. And they say it's different because it's for the younger crowd, more modern style influence, and it's best for fresh ideas and new trends. So I'm curious. And number 8, I know some of you have been there. Believe Jenny has, somebody else said they have the International Quilt Festival in Houston, and it is in the fall, usually. It's the largest quilt show in the US. Best for over the top inspiration, but it can be overwhelming, is what they say. So it's interesting. And then number 9 is Graphic Pro Expo. And Leslie, this is the one that you went to in Charlotte. It is multi-city and is best for equipment buyers. And they have it in multiple cities as well. And Charlotte is one of them. Then number 10, embroidery quilting cruises. But they didn't really name any. So I don't have any particular date or time or anything for any of the cruises. So that is something that you would have to look up. Now, I do know that Katrina Bacon, which is, uh, ooh, goodness, what is her thing? Graceful Creation. That's her channel. She and Patrice from Craftable Things. They have a cruise that they have put together. I don't know if it's still open to sign up for or not, but I do know that they have a crafting cruise that will be. I'm thinking this year. I'm not 100% sure, but if you're interested in it, check out Patrice Craftable Things or Katrina Bacon, which is something graceful. I can't think of it right now. I watch her, but I just, I have her on my speed dial, so all I have to do is click the button. So I don't have to remember her channel name. So what is it? Let me see. I'm going to look it up so I can tell you. But I do know that she has they have a cruise going on. What is the name of her thing, of her channel? Katrina's Graceful Creation. That's the name of it. Katrina's Graceful Creation. They are doing a cruise, her and Patrice with Craftable Things. I do not know when. Okay, here it is. This was done 11 days ago. Let me see. It's supposed to be an update. Girl Chat and Cruise. She has one. She has information on her site. So if anybody's interested in just finding out about the cruise or anything, you might want to look up one of those people. Marina, you said that you don't I don't think it's a crafting cruise. I think it's more of a business networking event. Okay, good. Because I really did not look into it at all. I knew she was having this cruise, the two of them. But since I wasn't interested in cruising, I didn't go forward with trying to get information about it. So thank you, Marina, for clarifying that. And Marina, you're saying that QuiltCon is not on your list. The Graphic Pro show in Charlotte is very small and just equipment. Okay. I know Leslie went one year when Eve from the Baby Booty was a presenter there. I never I haven't been, so I don't know, but that's good to know. Thank you. And Jenny, I'm assuming you're saying that Houston Quilt Show is in November because I think you go. Okay. Oh, okay. You said ad played. When they kicked me off, I guess they kicked me off so they could put an ad up, I guess. I don't know. You said frozen and back now. You're back. Something popped up and told me that I had got kicked off and I needed to restart. So I did. So I don't know what that was all about, but I'm assuming it had something to do maybe with that ad that they put up. Um, so, if there is anybody interested in going to the Everything Embroidery Marketing in Biloxi coming up in, what did I say, October, let's talk about it because I tell you, I would very much be interested in trying to figure out how to get there and everything. And I don't want to go by myself. So if we can get a group of people to meet up and all that good stuff, that would be so much fun. I would love to do that because I really do think it would be very interesting, even with some of the classes, because I would like to take a class with Lisa Shaw and I would like to see what Embroidery Legacy has to say, what All Brand has to say, and some of the other people that are doing classes. I'm not going to take a multitude of classes or anything like that, but just to go and even just to go and meet some of these people would be cool. And Cindy, you said, super glad you took the time to detail all the upcoming events. I did that. Thank you. And Sherry, yes, Biloxi having a trouble with. Can you hear me now? I hope you guys can hear me. You never know what I don't know what's happening on my side of the world. So I turned my sound up. Hopefully that will help you guys. I don't know. But if you're still having trouble hearing me, let me know. But I know when I was on last week, we talked about my completing my jacket that I was doing with Sean from Go Savvy Design, and I did finish it. So I'm going to show it to you guys. Matter of fact, it's been hanging back there the whole time. That is the jacket that I did, and this is the Bella quilt coat. That's the design. It's a pattern. And I have to tell you, I'm happy that the Social Society crew that where we meet every Wednesday night, we have decided to make this jacket as one of our projects. So starting, I believe, in July, mid-July, we're going to get started on the jacket. Some of us have already gotten our patterns and stuff, so you got plenty of time to get your pattern. From Sean, she's got a website. So what is her Go Savage Design? If you're interested in it, and who knows, you might want to sew along right with us. I got my jacket together over a weekend. I don't think I spent over 4 days total making it. And the reason being is because I wanted to keep up with the class, and the class was just 4 days this month. So I knew I had to get on point with it. And it really was not that difficult. I've not sewn a garment in decades, but I wanted to challenge myself and see if I could do it. And Carol, you said you've been eyeballing that jacket all evening. And Quilt for Joy said, wow, I'm impressed. The jacket looks great. And Marina, I'm still struggling with fabric selection. Girl, go get you some fabric, honey. I think I've already found my fabric for my next for the next one that we're gonna do. Um, but you know, quilt. I'm getting my jacket, you guys. Getting it down, right? I will put it on, and it's fully lined. Fully lined, everybody. I'm quite pleased because I tell you, like I said, I have not sewn in decades. And I was like, am I going to be able to do this? I got the zipper in. We got pockets. Look at the back. I put embroidery on the back. And I put embroidery on the sleeves. And that's what I did. Got the zipper guard, everything. So, if I can do it, you can do it. I am quite, and it's got a good weight to it because it's quilted, therefore it is batting in it. And it's going to be a nice, comfortable, warm jacket this fall. And I was so happy that I was able to make it. And all my seams matched up and my top stitching matched up and everything. I was like, I did that. Oh, I did that. Oh. Well, thank you so much. This is for my husband. I guess he's watching me. What can I say? Watching you do your thing never gets old. Keep being you. It's working perfectly. Oh, that was sweet. Carol said, well done. It is beautiful. I made mine the last time. Okay. And Carol said she's been eyeballing it. Robin said, beautiful jacket. Quipple, I'm impressed. Who else? Love the jacket. Jacket looks beautiful. Fabulous. Well done. Uh, that's beautiful, Miss Shirley. And you did a fabulous job. Great thread work. It fits you well. Love the extra detail. What type of batting did you use? And you did a great job. I use regular quilting batting, just the batting that I use to put making a quilt. And I know the lady, if you watch the video, they said something about bamboo batting and all that kind of stuff. But Sean said you don't have to do all of that, and I didn't. In all honesty, I got my fabric from Hobby Lobby, and I tell you why. It was kind of a rush job, as Marina knows. We kind of got stuff at the last minute, and I wanted to be prepared for the. Oh, okay. Andrew says 24 people in here and only 5 likes. We need 24 likes at least. Everybody hit that like button. Please, 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 please. It'd be wonderful if everybody hit the like button right now. At least get 24 in here. But anyway, besides that, um, it was kind of a rush deal. And I thought I had the fabric already, but once I got my pattern, I realized I didn't have enough of what I wanted to use. I didn't have enough yardage of what I wanted to use. So that meant, okay, now you got to buy some fabric. So I don't know where fabric shop or anything is. It's either Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And I wasn't thinking Michael had anything, but I have to be honest. I went to Michael's the other day and I was thoroughly impressed. I got me some beautiful fabric. I'll show it to you next time. But anyway, I went to Hobby Lobby and looked and looked and looked. Didn't really find what I wanted, but I got this fabric. I was trying to go on the cheap, I'm be honest, because I didn't know if I was going to jack up this jacket. I'm be honest about it. I wasn't spending a whole bunch of money on fabric, and I had not sewn in a while, and I didn't know if I was going to mess this thing up. So I said, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of money on fabric just in case it doesn't come out right and I mess it up and all that kind of stuff like that. So that's the route that I went. Now that I have proven to myself that I can actually do it, and now watch me mess up Nixon, but I hope and pray I don't. But anyway, now that I have proven to myself that I can still do a little sewing, not the best still, but I can do a little bit and it'll turn out okay. Take your time, pay attention, read the directions, look at the videos, all that kind of stuff, then you'll be okay. And so I felt like, okay, I want to do another one. So the group has decided they're going to do another one. So we're going to do it as a group. Each one of us will do our own individual jackets, but it's our group project that we always do. We're working on our quilts now, which we'll show them in June. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do another jacket. So I have found some beautiful fabric at Michael's, believe it or not, and I may or may not use it. I'm thinking I am because I think I bought enough fabric, I think, where I can match it up the way I want it because I want it to look more on this line where you have all of these beautiful colors all mixed in together and it's quilted. So I did quilt it on my sewing machine. The next one I want to quilt it on my 10 needle machine. I'm going to do block. My plan is to do edge to edge block quilting or whatever, the whole fabric and stuff before I cut it out because that's how you do it. That's my plan because I want a totally different quilting pattern and go from there. And then we'll show that. Da, 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 da. Marissa said you did an awesome job on that jacket. It's beautiful. Thank you. And Marina said, that's why I sat back on the class. I didn't want to purchase fabric in a rush and not like the outcome. Well, I agree. And I thought I wasn't going to like the outcome, honestly, because it wasn't my, oh my goodness, this is such beautiful fabric situation. But I'm happy with it because it turned out good. That's what makes me happy. And it is a fabric that, I mean, it's something that I will wear. And, like I told my husband, I can put this on with some jeans and stuff and go on about my business and be cool. And so that's why I did it. Because I did it for a learning experience. Also, I did it to prove to myself I could. Because I've been wanting to get back into doing some type of sewing. Because, like I said, I have not sewn since the 80s, maybe the late 70s. I'm just going to be honest about it. I have not sewn anything as far as making something. I've repaired things, I've hemmed things, but me cutting out a pattern and sewing up and making a garment, I used to do it all the time years and years and years ago, but I hadn't. And, use it or lose it. And I was a little nervous. I didn't know if I could do it, but this pattern is very simple. That's the good part about it. It's not a complex pattern, and it's not hard to do because I put it together in record time. I even surprised myself, even with the quilting part of the fabric, because you have to cut your fabric out in squares before you lay your pattern down. You cut your fabric out because you got to quilt the fabric before you actually put the pattern on it and cut it out. So that part takes time because you're actually quilting a quilt pretty much per se. But anyway, it turned out okay, and I'm glad you guys like it because I'm happy. So again, as Angela was saying, please give me thumbs up. Don't forget the thumbs up. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you have not subscribed to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you'll be sure to know when I put something out. Carol said, don't tell people you hem things. I don't. I don't hem things. I use hem and tape. I'm telling everybody now. I use hem and tape. I don't hem anymore. I do, and I'm not going to. Don't bring me nothing. Trust and believe me, when I was working as a pharmaceutical rep, I'm short, so all the pants I bought and dresses and stuff, all of them always needed hemming, and I went to a garment tailor and took that's back when you could afford to do that because they didn't charge you that much. I think it was like $10 a pair. But anyway, that's how I got all of my stuff hemmed. I didn't hem anything. I wasn't touching a sewing machine. Oh, you said my voice is going in and out. Can't hear me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am going to start using my mic. I guess that might be an issue. I don't know. Um, Sorry about that. I hate that that's happening. I think it does that when I move away from my camera. I get a little too happy and I get too far away. So I think that's why the sound goes in and out because the sound is coming directly from my camera and not from a mic that I have on. So I'm going to have to get my mic and put it up. So sorry about that. Cindy said, ah, you said men too. That's a four-letter word. You right about that too. People will come to you and ask you if you can do alterations. And the answer to that question, no. I don't alter my own things. I have some things right now in my closet that I plan to gather and take them and get them altered. I'm not even going to do that. So you say you can hear me sounds okay. Yeah, I think the sound is when I move too far away from my camera, when I'm being a little bit more animated. So that's probably what it is. But yeah, it is hitting that um, 2 hour mark, and tomorrow's a work day for me. And I have to be honest about it. When I first came on, I was still feeling because I got sick early in the morning. I was up all night in the bathroom, sick, 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 sick. Was sick all day long. I think I had a 24-hour bug or ate something or whatever. And I was almost not even thinking I was going to be able to come on tonight, but I pushed myself through it. And I'm so glad I did because I have enjoyed tonight. Hopefully, you guys have. And if you have, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And it made me feel a whole lot better. I guess I forgot about not feeling well. So, anyway, with that being said, I am going to go ahead and sign off for tonight. Thank you guys so much for um, listening, participating, and all of that. And like I said, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe. Doesn't cost a thing to hit that subscription button and comment. If you got any questions or anything, comment. And next week, I will hopefully use another one of the suggested topics that was presented last week. And then we can do that again and come up with some more. And Marina, my luminaire shakes in fear if I use the utility stitches menu. Yeah, I am feeling a lot better at this moment. So um, hopefully I will feel better tomorrow night. We'll get together tomorrow night, all you guys. And I am working on my quilt, believe it or not. I got some blocks done. I got some blocks done. So, with that being said, I'm going to say good night to everybody. Take care. Have a wonderfully blessed rest of your week. And I will see you next week. And good night. Bye bye.